Right. Welcome back. We are proceeding with our lecture on Tarms or Zimbabwe Revenue Authority term system or self service portal. Right. So in the previous lecture, I talked about how to register the public officer, how to register an organization, and I said we can't really register in a real existing organization because once we do that, that organization is now on the Zimra portal. So I just did a dummy registration of a cooperative business, but the steps, because it's self-explanatory, it will ask you for information. You're inputting that information. You then attach the relevant documents and everything. So the registration process is straightforward. And now we want to jump into how to use the portal. Now that the business is registered, you now need to know how to use the portal. This is very important. So here is sort of your homepage. This is your homepage. You can navigate to FDMS, self-service portal. The FDMS is for the fiscal devices. Fiscal devices, if you are registered for VAT, you should have the fiscal devices. So this is the self-service portal if you want to jump to it. But we're not going to do that. Then here is your taxpayer information. So this information, yes, to your profile, because you registered, then the applications that you put in, they'll be here. If there are any requests, you can see here once the business this business was approved on this date, so you have this which will be a confirmation that the application that you made was successful. Here will be your profile. Basically, these are the details, because when you registered, you inputted this information, then you attached the relevant papers. If there are any requests that you have put through to Zimra, you actually see them there. If there are any drafts, then here the taxpayer certificates. These are your tax clearances, your ITF 263. So the system is now set up such that before Tarms you could apply for a tax clearance. You could actually make a manual application for a tax clearance. On SAP, you could actually do it automatically, but most of the time you could have to apply it. Then the Zimra officers could generate it for you, and then they issue the certificate for you to you. But on Tarms, you can generate your certificates. So under certificates, there will be the list of the tax clearances or the ITF 263 that you have generated. So you can see the ones that we have there. So if you want to make a new application, you just have to come there and make an application. So when you are making an application, you have to make sure that your tax affairs are up to date. You can make a request for a manual tax clearance, manual in the sense that Zimra will generate that tax clearance for you, or you can do a request for an automatic. Most of the companies, most of the business, you just make an automatic request. What it means is the system will issue the tax clearance there and there. So if you were to make a request there, you could find what it would say is, before proceeding, ensure that you do not already possess a valid a valid certificate, and or you meet all certification requirements. Proceeding without meeting these criteria may result in an unsuccessful application. So if you meet the requirements, you just have to click on yes. You are applying for an ITF 263 certificate. So if there are issues there, you could find, before proceeding, ensure that you do not already have a valid certificate. Okay, it's just putting up that information, but here in red, it will actually say tax clearance cannot be created for TIN. This is the TIN number, as the taxpayer has not submitted all the pending tax returns. So you could find for this business, a tax clearance cannot be issued because they are outstanding or pending tax returns. We are going to talk about those tax returns. So you could just say, yeah, you could say no, to stop this process. If you were to make a manual, you could just click on the manual. So this is not going to be processed by the system. So you could then you make you put up your date there, then you submit. Then that's your manual. But most businesses, they do not make manual unless if there are special circumstances, right? So basically these are the two tips. Then assignee management. These are the people who will be managing the portal. We are saying we've got a public officer. I spoke of the public officer when we did the initial registration, but we are saying besides the public officer, you can also assign the employees of the organization to manage the portal. So you give them credentials. So you could actually create roles, just like what we do with accounting systems. You could actually create a new role there, give them the necessary rights that you want to give them, right? Then here, so your assignees are more like your users. These are more like users. If you were to talk in accounting terms, these would be more like your users. So here, like here, you could actually put in their ID number, their username, their first name, their middle name, surname, the row, because you must have created the rows. So you just pick the row there, then you can select their status, are they active or inactive. If you no longer want them to sign in, you just make them inactive, right? So once you add a new assignee, it means the credentials that you have created for this person are the credentials this person is going to be using to log into Tarms and manage whatever is to be managed. So here, this is assignee management or a tax agent assignment. So you can manage. You can okay. These are your, like in this case. These are the default, like your admin agent roles. These are your admin agent roles. So you could assign these to the assignees or to the users. So here is about managing the users, the people, additional people you want to manage the Tarms portal. Then employee management. The employee management, I'm going to come back to it, but it has to do with pay as you earn. It has to do with pay as you earn. So you could find before we could do our pay as you earn return. We could do our pay as you earn return. Then we could attach like a salary schedule or a payroll schedule, then submit to Zimra. But this time around, for you to submit a payee return, a pay as you earn return, you have to input, you have to create the employees for that organization on the portal. So you're creating the employees on the portals under employees. Then you're also also inputting the monies which they earn, be it Zim dollar, be it USD. Then the system will compute, it will calculate the taxes which are due, right? So once it calculates, you can now make your return. So this employee management has to do with pay as you earn. Then the tax return management, these are the tax returns. So the returns are different. So, okay, we have got pending tax returns. Here you check those returns which are supposed to be submitted but are not yet submitted. Submitted tax returns, then here you are checking the tax returns which have been submitted. E-agreement, meaning to say electronic agreement. If you have got an agreement with the Zimra, you check it there. Old period documents. These are your SAP, the old system documents, right? Then drafts, if you've got any drafts. So if you click on pending tax returns, if there are any pending tax returns, you could actually see that we are going to see those returns. So these returns are determined by the tax years that you registered for. By default, every company does pay as you earn. You can't run away. As long as your organization is registered, it will have pay as you earn. It will have income tax. So you can see here, we've got pay as you earn. Then we also have got QPDs, or income tax provisional return. So this is for QPDs. Then this one, now you have got the annual return that is supposed to be. So this company has got a number of returns which are outstanding. And I think you saw when we were trying to generate a tax clearance, it gave us that error. So if there are any submitted tax returns, you just check them there by clicking that. We are going to see how to do a tax return. We are going to see that, right? So if there are any submitted, you could actually, they'll be listed here. You can search them through and identify any tax return. If there are any electronic agreements, E for electronic, you could actually see them there, right? If they are old period documents, you could actually even see them there, right? They'll be listed down there. Then if there are any drafts, you will actually see them there. So mostly under tax return management, what you work with mostly is pending tax returns, because you want to see those tax returns which are outstanding so that you can submit them. You may also want to see the tax returns that you have submitted. So under submitted tax returns, you see it there, right? Then under taxpayer accounting. So under taxpayer accounting, this tab allows you to see assessment notices, right? What we are terming assessment notices is, because now Zimra is just managing your tax affairs using this Tarms portal. So if they make an assessment, they'll put it, they will send it on the Tarms. Okay, they can send you an email, but they'll also put it on Tarms. So under assessment notices, that's where you find those notices which Zimra is issued. So you can find these are notices, not submission penalty, not submission penalty. So these are notices which have been sent through. So you could actually open one. Let's probably just open one and see what the notice says. Let me just see there. Right. Just want to see one. Okay. All right. These notices, they are not allowing us to open them. Let me see. Can I open one? Okay. Now, so these notices are supposed to allow me to open them. Let me see from the top here. There are also notices up there. Let me see if I can open that. So it's just okay now. You see, okay. So now it shows me this. So I've got these notices, which I can check. So by clicking this icon, I can view what the notice says. So your notices, they come through that. So it will give you the information and whatever you have to do. So basically those are your notices under taxpayer accounting. Then audit assessment notices. If ever you have an audit, okay, how do audits come up? What Zimra does, you are managing your tax affairs. You are computing, you are going to see, we're going to look at these taxes, each and every one of these taxes, and see how we do returns. So in your organization, you are calculating, like for VAT, let's say probably you're doing a VAT, you're calculating the VAT, the sales that you did, and calculating the output tax. You are calculating the input tax. You are knocking them off and then seeing what has to be paid or what has to be claimed from Zimra. It's you who is doing that. You are coming to the Tarms portal. You are loading up that information. Now, Zimra, what this Zimra does now, they make an assessment, like, they just assess what you have submitted. Then from time to time, they audit. They do an audit. So it could be a routine audit where they're just checking your records for accuracy, or it could be a special audit. Probably they just suspect that you're under declaring or there's something, then they could just make an audit. So after that audit, they issue what we term an audit assessment notice, right? Then the summary report, what it does now, it shows like the amounts which may be outstanding or owing on your account. Like in this case, this business owes, the liability balance is 120 ZWG. There are no credit balances there. It doesn't owe anything for USD. Right. Then the tax type report. The tax type report, as I said, there are a number of tax types or taxes, so to say. So you can generate a tax type report there. In this case, okay, this is your single, okay. This one is your, what they call a single account. Okay, a single account ledger. What they do now is they bring all your taxes here. Then they show you what is owed. As you can see, this column is the tax type. So if you were registered or the tax head, so tax type, tax head, let's say you were registered for all these. Okay, in other words, what they do is they just put all the taxes. Like in this case, they just put all the taxes. Most business are registered for payee. Payee by default. VAT, if you have met the threshold. Withholding taxes, you may have some withholding taxes, presumptive income, and everything. They put up everything here. Capital goods, that is your CGT, as lev, excise duty, licensing fees, and so on. So here, if you owed anything, you could find the amount will be here, which is the principal amount due. So they could just put it up there, then the USD, then they could indicate the overdue, then they could also indicate the interest. So you could also have an interest. It's actually along the number of columns, your interest. If there are penalties, they could actually show you your penalties there, right? So you could have your principals overdue, penalties, then you can have the total payable amount. If there are any credits, then you have got that. So this single account ledger shows you in totality of all the taxes that you are supposed to be paying tax on. Then it shows you what is outstanding. If you have got any credits, they are shown there. Then here is these are the payments that you do. You could actually be doing payments. You actually make payments, so your payments will be recorded here. You can make your payments online. You can make via bank transfer, and they are recorded here. The same goes with the single account transactions. Your transactions will be recorded there. Then the withdrawals. These are when you have a refund. So here you actually apply for a refund here. A refund arises. Let's say, I'll give you an example of a manufacturing company. A manufacturing company can sell, but they may at times import like big machinery on which they will claim input VAT, which is higher than the output. We're going to talk about that. So they will have a refund. So here, that's when they make the refund withdrawal, right? Then, of course, here will be the withdrawal application history. In this case, we don't have anything. Then here you've got your refund management. So you have your applications there and everything. So I want to probably stop here. I want to stop here for today. Then tomorrow we can proceed. I think tomorrow we'll start with the refund management. Then we'll also touch on these other, or probably let me just complete on the tips. So this one is your refund management. Then your invoice management, you can upload your invoices there. So here you can upload like the invoices. So you've got your fiscal invoices, you've got your debit notes, you've got your credit notes. Actually, now that we have got the FDMS, you can navigate to the FDMS portal, because Zimra is now saying when you are buying and there is a fiscal invoice, that fiscal invoice is already recorded in their system. So instead of you uploading like what you used to do, we could just upload our own invoices. You can now link up with the FDMS system and pull up that invoice to. So this is mainly is for input for when you're claiming. We're going to talk much about that. Right? If there are diplomatic missions and development partners invoices for NGOs mostly. This one is mostly for NGOs. Then if there are any audits, active audits or investigations, here will be the audit documents. Okay, as I said, I talked about audit assessment notices there, but if there is an audit which is going on, you may be asked to, you may have the documents there, you may have documents uploaded by the auditors, the Zimra auditors, or yourself. You can upload the information. So you can do what they call a voluntary disclosure there and upload some documents. Then debt management. The debt management, what it does is it shows you the overdue amounts, because you are supposed to be paying your revenues on particular days. So we're going to discuss that in detail. Then if there are any overdue, they'll be shown here. They'll be shown here. Whatever is overdue, will be shown here. So that's your debt management. Like if you don't pay in time, Zimra will garnish your account. If you you have made an installment plan, and you can actually come in and make an installment plan. Probably, let's say your business is struggling and you want to make an installment plan. You can make an installment plan here, and your installment plans will be shown here. So for you to do the application for that, you just click on installment applications. Then you make a new plan where it's a payment plan. You owe so much. Then you are proposing that you are going to pay that much using on this particular days. Then if there are any cases which are now in the courts, let's say for some reasons you discussed with the Zimra, you didn't agree, then you either took them to court or Zimra took you to court. It's either way, they will upload the documents there. Then here is the tax calendar, right? Then you've got your notifications there. So basically, so your tax calendar is just showing you when you're supposed to be making payments, be it for payee, for VAT, and so on. Then the notices are there. So these are the tabs. We are going to look at some of these tabs in much detail, especially the tax return management, because mostly that's where you'll be working month in, month out, as well as the employee management for payee or pay as you earn. You'll be working with it month in, month out. So we're going to revisit these areas and see how they work. This is an introduction, and this Tarms portal is where you manage the tax affairs of the business. This is where you manage the tax affairs of the business. So we are ending here today, and we'll proceed in the next lecture and look in particular on some of these items. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.